Today, we have a presentation on SADTU's role in advancing sports, arts, and culture in the union and in education. The person to unpack this is our Vice President for Sports, Arts, and Culture, Comrade Nolitha Mboniswa. As we celebrate the Heritage Month, where in South Africa recognizes and celebrates the rich culture and traditions of our nation, we are honored to have you in the studio, Comrade Nolitha. VP, tell us about SADTU's role in advancing sports, arts, and culture in the union and in education.
Equally, as a union, we have a duty to ensure that our members play and they enjoy all these music, sports, and cultural activities. We are not performing out of the blue. We have guiding principles that we want and always aspire to learn from. They are our guiding torches moving forward. The principles of mass participation and involvement of both our members and learners in these programs is of the essence. Our view as SADTU is that our programs ensure that social cohesion is enhanced. They expose, identify, and nurture the talent of our learners. We must ensure, comrades, equal access, equity, and equality in our programs. We must strive to eradicate all forms of racism, sexism, gender disparities, and imbalances of the past, and in turn, foster non-racism, non-sexism, non-tribalistic views in all our programs. And if our members hold on to these principles, we are then able to ensure that their children, their learners, our learners will be rounded individuals who will ensure that they fight against all forms of racism, sexism, gender imparities, and imbalances in schools, foster non-racism, non-sexism, non-tribalistic views in all our programs. The basis of our arguments stems from the Freedom Charter, which proclaimed the doors of learning and culture shall be opened, that the government shall discover, develop, and encourage national talent for the enhancement of our cultural life, that the aim of education shall be to teach the youth to love their people and their culture, to honor their brotherhood, liberty, and peace. And comrades, even before we go further, we must say this is the reason why in our schools program for music, South African Schools Choral Eisteddfort, we cause our children to recite the preamble of the Constitution. We cause them to sing our national anthem. We cause them to sing the African Union anthem. All these three aspects are meant to ensure that we ground our learners to know what does Ubuntu mean, what does liberty, what does peace, what does human brotherhood mean. And we wish to ensure that they continue to learn these pieces of information day in and day out. That education shall be free, compulsory, universal, and equal for all our children. That color bar in cultural life, in sport and education shall be abolished. And this is the reason why, comrades, we have referred you to the principles that serve as a guiding torch for the existence of this portfolio. Social cohesion, comrades, is critical because we are talking of a society that works together. That works together towards the well-being of its members first, fight exclusion, fight against marginalization of all our people, the poorest of the poor, especially those in deep rural areas and township schools where we believe many of our learners and members are found. Creating a sense of belonging, promoting trust, and the society offering its members opportunities for growth on an equal basis. But coupled with that, the issue of Ubuntu, which is one of the guiding principles in our country. We are saying we can only achieve all these ideals when we ensure that education plays that vital part in social cohesion. when we ensure that the schooling experience of our children is meant to shape and transmit common values that underpin social capital and inclusion. We continue to fight against any form of exclusion because, comrades, we hear from other provinces that some principals refuse our learners to participate, which is wrong. We must say in this platform today that no learner, comrades, must endure any form of exclusion in partaking. Remember, the essence of these programs is to expose talent, nurture it, make it excellent. What if that single learner you have refused permission to participate is that one learner who would be a star one day in sports or will sing opera? And we know, comrades, that this country has not fallen short of producing the best learners who are participating, who are also singing overseas, who continue to represent our country. And this is the reason why, comrades, we always urge that these programs or these activities are very critical. But we have challenges, lack of facilities. Most schools do not have proper facilities. We need to bridge that gap. We need to find the best ways of ensuring that every child has an access to a sporting field. One time in the union, comrades, we got into an agreement with the employer on the process of redeployment, wherein it was agreed that where there are many teachers, they must be taken where there are fewer teachers. But the issue is that the other aspect of that process of redeployment was saying where there are no fields in one school, the neighboring school must share the sporting fields and all equipment they have with the neighboring schools. But of course, our country, being the country that it is, everybody wants to hold on to his or her sporting fields without sharing with the other children in the community. And this is why, comrades, we are saying that the issue of school sport is a site of struggle, and we must continue to ensure that things are done correctly. Violation of core principles like mass participation and equal opportunities to our learners. Comrades, we cannot afford to have learners that are going to be bad or that are going to be told that we are not performing this year because there is no money. We continue to call upon government to ensure that all in their power is done to ensure that our learners participate. We want to say in few minutes the issue of the involvement of school governing bodies, which we implore all school governing bodies to continue to play their role in terms of Section 21 of the South African Schools Act, where they are expected to determine which sporting codes are going to be played in their schools. But over and above that, the SGBs, the parents with learners in each school must ensure that children play and they are there to support them. It becomes very beautiful, comrades, when we see that parents want to play that role. The issue of the existence of unions is a well-known factor that nobody must begin to negate the existence of unions. But comrades, why must we fight for school sport? Why must we fight? Why must we continue to ensure that our children play? There's a paper that was developed by this portfolio that was adopted by the last National Congress in 2024. That paper is in circulation. It's stating clearly what is the vision of the union in terms of ensuring that sports is played in schools. Currently, school sport is managed by the Department of Sports, yet children and teachers are in the Department of Education. Our sense is that this is causing a disjuncture in terms of how learners access the programs. And comrades, we want to say that The reason why, as a union, we continue to fight for these programs is that we believe that they have a positive impact and fight against violence. They have a positive impact in the fight against drug use and drug abuse, the ill discipline that is in schools, the fight these programs are doing against the social ills, pregnancy of our teenage girls, and all those challenges that we know. And this is the reason why, comrades, we believe that sport is not neutral, because education is not neutral. And as such, we call upon all of us to ensure that we do ensure issues of access, equity, equality, as we have said, identify talent, nurture it, contribute towards its excellence, ensure social cohesion, Ubuntu, and those principles, as we have said, include all learners, even those living with disabilities. Otherwise, comrades, the current scenarios are showing us a negative effect. And that is why, as SADTU, we continue to say no when we have to say no. For instance, there is a tendency to negate the schools and the learners from rural areas and the township schools. And as we have said, that is where the majority of our learners and members are. And there is no way that we cannot fight for them. The current dispensation continues to show a tilt and a bias towards those that are advantaged, leaving behind those that are not very advantaged. And we continue to say to the Department of Sports, not in 2025 or not during our time, that we will take learners to a sporting program and they will sleep in buses. It's not allowed. It can never be allowed. It's wrong. And we must continue to say no as the union. When learners, comrades, are going to embark on a journey to play in Durban, as an example, our sports conveners in all the branches, in all the districts and the regions must be hands-on to ensure that they know the status of the buses that our learners are going to use and all those things. At least, comrades, we must ensure that we continue to present a particular face in terms of ensuring equity, equality, access, and accessibility of these programs.
Yeah, just a breather for you, VP. We have first of our comrades who we used to acknowledge, Comrade Jonathan Rustin, the former PS in the Western Cape, Comrade Nkosinathi Ndimande, Doris Madonsela, Intokazi, Meryl Valensky, Tumelo Rambau, Tsepo Nawani are watching. These are the comrades who are just acknowledging that they are watching, VP.
Thank you so much.
Yes, VP.
Thank you so much, comrades. All of you that you have mentioned, Comrade Rustin, Timande, and many others for watching the program. So, comrades, we are saying that, which we must correct on the ground. The Department of Basic Education no longer speaks of school sports. They speak of school enrichment programs. And the temptation is that they are going to link school sport only to LO or life orientation, which is wrong. These are two different programs. School sports means the actual participation of our learners and our members, guiding them. Curriculum, that is life orientation, is curriculum. And these are two different things. And for them to continue in a way that we want and a way that we want to achieve what we are seeking to achieve, these things must not be clubbed and be made one thing. They are two different programs. The role of federations, comrades, we are going to talk about as we move forward. Our understanding, comrades, is that school sports serves as a medium to contribute to national unity, fostering a particular South African identity and promoting a common sense of belonging, nation building, And comrades, we believe when managed properly by proper people who are supposed to manage school sport, there's no way that, comrades, we cannot have the ideal country that we want. Learners in deep rural areas, comrades, farm schools, townships, do not have access to sports because there are no playing fields. There is not enough effort to ensure that they play. This program, comrades, is a call to go back to basics. Our vision, as stated in that paper that is in circulation, is that school sport must go back to the Department of Education. It's a simple vision that says the current scenarios that are happening are not giving our learners and our members the ample opportunity that they need. But whilst we are busy correcting that anomaly, we want to call upon all our members to do one of the following. We must have programs, comrades, inter-school activities that are designed in a manner that would ensure that teachers, both serving and non-serving, who are having an interest and commitment in playing the same cause that they were specialists in, impart skills, share experience and expertise to our schools and children. That is important. 2, the net effect of these, comrades, is that schools will take pride in their performances and the quality of their performances in this regard. But we have got an elephant in the room that we must deal with. We must dispel the myth that says sports and music. The myth that says sports and music are a waste of time, that they kill schools' results. And as a union, comrades, we are calling upon us all to balance the equation. We need results, they are critical, but we need to build well-rounded and grounded learners. And how do we do that? We must ensure that they fully participate. And history has proven that all the schools that participate, both in schools music and school sport, have the best results in the country. It has been proven, comrades. So this is the reason why we continue to say it can never be correct that we have children who could be bad. We must adopt, comrades, all of us, a common vision to resuscitate school sport and music in schools. This is the reason why we are saying, or we are talking about, mass participation of our learners. If all our learners are going to take part. And this is the reason why we believe that if all our learners can take part, government would be able to declare more funding for our programs. Revival of Wednesday games, focus on competition, as failure to do so does not only allow or detach the importance of sports, but it causes our learners not to participate. Commit ourselves to inter-school games among schools. Let children play. Let's have tournaments. Let's have fixtures. Let's ensure that inter-second schools make and cause our children to play. Farm schools, second structures that are extremely accountable to the school sports must be formed. If you agree on subscriptions, comrades, let the school principals of the schools affected be informed that we were given 10 rands as Lutubeni circuit by 9 schools. So we had 90 rands to start this program. And as such, the principals must be called to say, you gave us 90 rands, this is what we did. Because, comrades, this is what kills our sports structures. Failure to account for the funds that are used to run the programs. Share infrastructure and facilities. Agree, comrades, that the schools which are nearer a particular school, I almost named the school, the schools that are near a particular school must have access to the fields of that school that is nearer the other schools. We must say how many schools have sports facilities and equipment, music facilities, and campaign vigilantly towards ensuring that our children have access to school sports.
Yeah, another question, VP. It reads, the issue of sports is a serious concern in high schools. At this current moment, though the budget is there, we still struggle a lot in terms of how to take part, receive resources, as well as even budget. And as a result, willing and capable teachers end up losing hope. This is from Portia La Poche blog.
That is true. That is very true. It is that elephant in the room that I said, or that we are saying must be balanced. How do we balance the participation of learners and results? Senior secondary schools are put in an island where only results are important. So hence we are calling upon our members to ensure that they tap on the talent of the learners and ensure that our learners participate. We also know that schools are given a sum of 10% by the department. But the reality is that that money at times is used for other reasons except what it is meant for. So our Comrade Portia must assist us. We must continue, comrades, to demand that our children play even in high schools. And our sense is that a demand remains a demand until it is met. There is no child who must be refused participation. We continue to say that. Then on the issue of the formation of national school sports structures, this has been always our call that we must have a national school sports structure, which resembles what was used to be USASA at some point. But comrades, our call is that there are terms of reference that are being developed for this formation. We call upon only interested teachers in schools who must be part of these school sports structures. Don't include federations. Federations are not supposed to organize in schools. People who must be responsible for school sports are teachers. We always make this point that if there is a learner who would leave a school without the principal knowing where that learner or child was going, the only person who would be in trouble is the principal. And this is the reason why, comrades, we continue to say, comrades, we rely on you on the ground. We have no other hope in ensuring that structures are formed. School sports structures must be made up of teachers. Let's force the department to ensure this. Let's force the federations to give money to school sports structures so that they are able to run these programs. Otherwise, comrades, all our vision will go down the annals of history as being useless if we are unable to ensure that. And comrades, the truth of the matter is that through school sport, children learn other skills. Through school sport, children learn and music. They learn how to be disciplined. They learn all those.
After that emphasis, VP, we have an input from Comrade Perseverance Masole. The comrade says, teachers are willing and ready to coach and coordinate sports in schools, but there is always no money. From both schools and the departments. There's this emphasis that there is no money from the department and from the schools.
it's true, comrades. Unfortunately, that's the current scenario. But this is the reason why, as SADTU, we continue to say, Comrade Masole, that a demand remains a demand until it is met. We continue to implore the employer to ensure that they declare more funds for these programs. Until that is done, your willingness, comrades, will never go down the drain. For us, even that 10% is not enough, but it is a start. Our principals must assist us. It cannot be correct that only schools with principals who have an interest in sports and music that are going to participate. So at all levels, in schools, at second level, this is where, comrades, the principle of mass participation and involvement of our learners is guaranteed. And in your meetings with children, don't just play, comrades, do not just play. Have those talks with learners on the impact of sports and other benefits in their lives. Teach them about gender-based violence, gangsterism, violence, crime, and be futuristic in approach. Because we are building young boys and girls who will soon be young adults and adults. Hence the importance of integrating these wellness matters, so that we are not only doing players that are going to kick, we are not only developing players that are going to kick ball in a field, but we are building people who would know and differentiate between what is right and wrong, who would be able to treat women, even the girls at the school. We must see a difference, comrades. We must foster an approach that says, when girls are sweeping the floors, boys are removing desks. Boys can also clean the windows. All those things, comrades, we are trying to turn around the tide of all these social ills that we have talked about. Develop clear and concrete policies that would ensure that every child who excel in whatever way is given an opportunity. And comrades, with this, we are not only focusing on schools. We want even our members to play. We must take these discussions on how do we ensure that we play, we sing, we do arts and culture daily. And as such, comrades, the Department of Education must ensure that personnel, funding, integration, infrastructure, and full-time funding of sports and sporting facilities is guaranteed during this time. And comrades, the reality is that we depend on the members on the ground. Now, this part remains, these two things remain very critical. We used as SADTU members to apply for our children. As educators, we used to apply for our children. We must continue, comrades. If we identify a learner who's excellent in music, who's excellent in sports, let's apply for them in the tertiary institutions. I know that these things are done online now, but let's encourage them. You are good in what? Come, let's apply. Because we need them to be sport kinesticists tomorrow, whatever form of career that is there that is related to sports. But they need maths, life sciences, physical sciences, English. And therefore, we call upon those who are going to take learners to the field. That prep talk, don't forget to study after this game. Your maths results must improve. Your physical science is not good. These are the talks, so that that principal who's going to be required results in January will not say you are no longer going to play because you don't do well. So we must balance up, comrades, team up. What happens in the fields happens in classes. What happens in classes happens at home. That's why we are calling upon the involvement also of the parents. Comrade parents, you do not send your children to school just for the sake. You follow them up You encourage them to play and sing. You do all sorts of things. Let's source bursaries, comrades, for our learners. Let's find coaches for our learners. But there are issues of ill discipline that we need to flush out of the system.
Just on that, Chief VP. Greetings, VP. This is Comrade Roots Ngoza Dlulani. He touches on the issue around coaching. Greetings, VP. One challenge facing school sports is lack of coaching, managing and officiating in various sporting codes. And the department has deserted its responsibility to develop teachers on these aspects.
Indeed, Comrade Ngoza from Nolin branch of SADTU. Indeed, comrades, there's lack of coaching. Hence, as SADTU, when you receive these slides, you will find that we call upon that there must be an approach of finding coaches for our schools. It can never be correct, comrades, that the same teachers who teach maths are the same teachers who are expected to cause our learners to sing, to cause our learners to play and all that. We need the government to balance up and say, even if a year they employ 100 coaches, it will go a long way. Employ 100 coaches for soccer, for netball. I'm making a crude example. But club the schools in the area to benefit from that coach so that the process of imparting of skills, identification of talent, and all those is done properly. So we must flush out ill discipline, comrades. We must flush out ill discipline in our schools. We must fight against our members who engage in sexual relations with learners. When learners are left behind to practice your songs and participate in music or do whatever engagement they have to do, comrades, stay away from learners. Stay away, comrades, from learners. They are there because the parents trust them with their lives. We must stay away from them. Corporal punishment, comrades, we must fight it. There's no need, comrades, you instill your maths and you instill your music with punishment. It must be freely done. It must be nicely done in schools. Failure by school principals to report such cases of misconduct. Comrades, we must report when there is a mistake. When I was still full-time at school, I know for a fact that female leaders or female teachers would be the first one to pick up anything that is wrong between a child and a teacher. We must continue, comrades, being vigilant until the system is cleansed of all these aspects of ill discipline. Hence, we are calling also, comrades, for government to avail budget to ensure that there is enough funding, ring-fence budget. We are going to January now. It would be difficult to host athletics as if we did not know that there will be athletics in January. Some provinces almost did not participate in schools music 2025 because of the issue of money. What is difficult, comrades, in keeping this money safe? Who in the country does not see the impact of school sport and music in the country? The fight that our learners stage through the songs that they sing against gender-based violence, against teenage pregnancy. So we are doing all those things, comrades, to ensure that we participate.
We have VP Comrade Tshepo Nawani. He basically reinforces the issue around budgets. Let me read what he says. We are really facing a challenge when it comes to school sports. The budget is small and most educators lose interest because when they ask for money for learners to go and take part in departmental tournaments, they are told by management that there is no money.
Indeed, comrades, that's the issue. That is the issue. And this is the reason why we are doing these programs as SADTU, to say the majority of our principals are members of SADTU. we urge them to hear the call, the clarion call that is made by the union. We cannot afford to lose comrades like Comrade Tsepo, Comrade Masule, who are committed to the program. We must continue to support each other. Those teachers, those of our members who have an interest, must ensure that they are given that chance. And also, comrades, we must fight for compensation, agree for incentives for both teachers and parents. Those of our learners, comrades, who have some form of challenge, physical and otherwise, are supported by parents and by other employees of government to ensure that they ascend stage and all that. How about ensuring that on top of whatever they receive as an incentive, we declare more incentives to encourage them? Because the learners want to participate, the learners want to play and sing, but at times there is no money to do that. So we're calling upon all of us, comrades, to ensure that we involve our learners. Grade 12 results, we have said that. Now, we just want to quickly share our achievements in schools music. In 2025 alone, about 8,000 learners participated in National SASTU. 407 teachers were choir conductors. And so many schools, about 163 schools. Now, as we have said, we have categorized learners with difficulties physically and mentally into two. We annually, comrades, we declare which languages must be prescribed for across all grades. For primaries, we declare which language. For secondaries, which language. Then annually, we also declare which traditional dances are going to be performed. So learners perform 2 cultural dances every year. They perform the prescribed cultural dance, isiXhosa, for instance, this year, and they also perform SADTU, meaning that in a year when they participate, they are exposed to 2 cultures, and no child in the country is not given that chance. We prescribe songs in the 11 languages in the country. Even then, we declare to say, for primaries, Siswati this year, Xhosa that year, Sesotho that and that. Because we want to ensure that we build whole-rounded learners who understand that the country is diverse, the country has got diverse needs, and as such, they must be prone to understanding other languages that are in existence in the country. We have already issued 2026 prescription. Those of our members who are dedicated have already started practicing, which is good when they start on time. As we have said, our learners continue to learn the African Union National Anthem, the Republic of South Africa National Anthem, the recital of the preamble of the Constitution of South Africa, which we believe it will go a long way to assist. When we were in Durban holding the Southern Africa Teachers Organization with the 9 countries of SADC, children from Empangeni High School came to lead the parade. They had a big marching band. They sang the national anthem of South Africa, and they equally performed the African Union National Anthem. And we believe, comrades, we are instilling in these learners and our members in all the schools the importance of these items. Then this year, we introduced the category of Chamber of Champs to expand senior secondary participation. Wow, unto those who are refusing to participate. The train is moving and is moving fast. When we started this section of Chamber of Champs, we had 5 choirs. This year, for next year, 2026, we have got 7 choirs, meaning that 2 more schools are going to participate in the secondary schools, as other 2 schools have moved up. We continue to source bursaries, comrades, for learners who want to proceed and study choral programs in in tertiary institutions. One girl is studying currently opera music in the University of Cape Town. And this is the reason why, comrades, we implore you, despite the trials and tribulations of our jobs, despite the fact that there is no money, the little that we have must be used sparingly for this program.
On that positive note, VP, we have Comrade Govi Mutli. He says, we have learners from different areas with traveling transport issues. And if we take 5 minutes from each lesson, this would be minus 55 minutes to develop our learners.
That is critical. That's a very, very progressive suggestion from Comrade Moodley, because it talks to what we talked about earlier, to say, how do we balance results and the performance and the involvement and the participation of our learners? So Comrade Moodley is coming with a progressive, on the ground solution to say, how about taking 5? We are not stealing the 5 minutes from curriculum, but we are taking the 5 minutes from each period to build time for our learners to participate. Please, comrades, SADTU members, and all teachers at large, when your principal is doing this, is not doing this for you to leave the school early and go and shop in town. Is doing this to plow back some time to the children so that our children can participate.
Just a follow-up question, VP, from Comrade Tsepo Nawani. The department is not administering training and workshops for sports coaches and coordinators. We need to develop so learners can develop from that.
That is true, comrades. And this is the reason why we are saying as SADTU that school sport must go back to the Department of Education, because we believe that it must be the officials of the Department of Education who have an interest in developing their learners. Whenever we meet the federations in the sports meetings with the Department of Sports, they always say, we have trained so many learners, we have trained, so many teachers, we have trained so many teachers. So, Comrade Tsepo, you are telling us on the ground that it is not true. Even if they are doing it as federations, it is not enough. And we're happy for that contribution, because when we go back to meet with them, we will say, but our members are saying there are no trainings on the ground. What kind of trainings are you doing? For whom? It's critical that we continue this liaison. Hence, our sports, arts and culture conveners on the ground, coordinated provincially in each province, regionally in the 54 regions of SADTU, in each branch. The last time I checked, we had about 454, if I'm not mistaken, branches of SADTU in the province. And so many sites where we have members. Comrades, what is keeping us? What is keeping us from ensuring that the children of the poorest of the poor, the children of the poorest people of the country, in the deep rural areas of the country, in the farm areas, do access sports? These challenges that we are experiencing, lack of funding, we will continue to fight with the employer to ensure that they get resolved. African languages, comrades, the fact that we teach our children in mother tongue language, mother tongue based language at the lower grades, the fact that almost all provinces now are following the Eastern Cape in the introduction of the IIAOL, the mother tongue based bilingual education, MTBBE, and the fact that some question papers are translated into our own languages for matric children to be able to understand what these questions are saying in their own mother tongue is a step, comrades, in the right direction. and we must support it. Let's ensure that our children have access in this mother tongue bilingual education. And then the union has got a key role and is propagating that, the decolonization program, and we believe that the issue of language is critical. We must note that it remains never a curse to be born and learn in township and rural schools. And this is the reason why, comrades, we seek never to fail our children in those areas. Comrade Malose, Comrade Rustin, Comrade Dimande, Comrade Julane, Comrade Mudli, Comrade Tsebo, and many, many others of our members who are listening to this program must receive this as a clarion call. Begin to debate on the ground. How do we ensure that these programs take place? The vision of taking school sport back to education is important. We have started to include early childhood development learners. We are prescribing music for them. It means that, comrades, we must also debate how to ensure that those early childhood development learners play as well. We believe that sports, arts, and culture is to ensure that our members play and they enjoy all these music, sports, and cultural activities. Thank you so much, comrades.
Let's awaken the masses and disrupt the status quo. We are the champions of change, mobilizing the consciousness and uniting revolutionary professionals in strengthening foundational learning and functional skills to advance inclusive and sustainable economic growth in pursuance of a socialist society, leaving no one behind. Be part of history. Together, we'll shape a world where education isn't just a privilege, it is a revolution. We can be the catalyst for change.